Rain falls softly on the dark hills of Italy. It is cold. The ground is thick with mud. Soldiers lie flat against the earth, barely moving. Above them, on a high rocky peak, an ancient stone abbey watches in silence. It has stood there for centuries. Tonight, it feels like it is watching the war itself. Down below, radios crackle with broken voices. Orders are unclear. Some men clutch their rifles tighter. Others stare into the darkness, trying to see what cannot be seen. No one is sure what waits ahead. They only know they must move forward. The hill looks calm from a distance. But everyone here knows that calm is a lie. Every step feels watched. Every sound feels dangerous. The silence presses hard on the mind. It is the kind of silence that makes men question every decision that brought them here. Somewhere far behind the lines, commanders look at maps. Lines and arrows cross the page. The plan seems simple on paper. Take the hill. Break the defense. Open the road ahead. But maps do not show fear. They do not show steep slopes or shattered stone. They do not show men freezing in place because the ground itself feels alive with danger. For the soldiers at the base of the hill, the abbey is more than stone. Feels like a fortress built by time itself. Its walls rise straight from the rock. Its shadow stretches across the valley. Many wonder how something so old became the center of a modern war. The wind moves through broken trees. A helmet slips deeper into the mud as a soldier shifts his weight. Somewhere, a voice whispers a prayer. Not loudly. Just enough to hear his own breath. Faith feels close tonight. So does fear. No one talks about victory. Not here. Victory feels too far away. The focus is smaller. Stay alive. Follow orders. Trust that someone, somewhere knows what they are doing. The waiting is often worse than the fighting. Time slows down. Minutes feel like hours. Men think of home. Of warm rooms. Of quiet mornings that feel like another life. The hill does not care about these thoughts. It stands firm, unchanged. Then the sky begins to change. A distant rumble rolls across the valley. It is low at first, like thunder far away. Heads lift slowly. Eyes search the clouds. The sound grows louder. Stronger. The air itself seems to tighten. This is the moment everyone knew would come. Some soldiers feel relief. The waiting is over. Others feel a sharp fear in their chest. Because once the noise begins, there is no turning back. The ground shakes. The sound fills everything. It pushes away thought. Pushes away doubt. For a moment, it feels like the world is breaking apart. The abbey, once silent, now stands in the center of a storm made by human hands. From below, it is hard to tell what is happening above. Smoke and dust climb into the sky. Stone and earth fall away from the hill. Some believe this must be the end of resistance. Nothing could survive such power. Others are not so sure. The hill has fooled men before. As the noise fades, another kind of silence follows. A heavier one. The kind that asks a question no one wants to answer. Did it work? Orders come quickly now. Move forward. Take the ground. Do not stop. Men rise from the mud. Legs feel weak. Packs feel heavier than before. The slope looks steeper with every step. The path ahead is broken and unclear. Nothing looks like it did before. As they move, confusion spreads. Landmarks are gone. Paths are blocked. The hill feels different. Changed. And yet still dangerous. Shots echo across the rocks. Not many at first. Just enough to remind everyone that the hill is not empty. That someone is still there. Watching. Waiting. Fear returns fast. Stronger than before. Men drop low again. Orders are shouted, then lost in the noise. Some units move too far. Others stop too soon. No one has the full picture. Everyone has only the moment in front of them. The abbey looms above, damaged but unbroken. Its presence feels heavier now. Almost angry. As if it refuses to leave the war behind. This is how the battle truly begins. Not with a clear charge or a single brave act. But with doubt. With confusion. With the slow realization that this hill will not fall easily. Every step forward feels earned. Every pause feels dangerous. The enemy is unseen but always felt. The ground offers no comfort. The sky offers no answers. Somewhere in the dark, A soldier realizes that this fight will not end tonight, or tomorrow, or even soon. This hill will take time. And time is something the war does not like to give. Monte Cassino is no longer just a place on a map. It is a test of patience, of judgment, of how much pressure men can carry before something breaks. And as the night stretches on, one truth becomes clear to everyone on that slope. This battle will change them, no matter how it ends. By morning the hill still stands. Smoke hangs in the air, slow and heavy. From a distance it looks quiet again. But everyone involved now understands something important. This place is not just another obstacle. It is the key to everything that comes next. For the Allied commanders, Italy is supposed to be a faster path. A way to push north, force the enemy to spread thin and ease pressure on other fronts. Rome waits beyond these hills like a promise. Taking it would mean more than a city. It would mean proof that the long climb through Italy is worth the cost. But between the Allies and Rome stands a line of defenses built with care and patience. Rivers, ridges, narrow valleys, and steep mountains work together like silent soldiers. At the center of this line is Monte Cassino. Whoever controls this hill controls the main road north. Trucks, tanks, supplies, and men cannot pass without it. From the German side, the goal is different but just as clear. They do not need to win the war here. They only need time. Every day the Allies are delayed is a day gained elsewhere. The terrain does much of the work for them. The hill slows movement. The weather breaks machines. The narrow roads force attacks into tight spaces. The Abbey itself becomes a symbol of control. Sitting high above the valley, it watches every approach. Even when it is not used directly, its position shapes every decision. Soldiers feel seen. Commanders feel blocked. The hill bends the battle around itself. Pressure builds far from the front lines. Political leaders want results. Newspapers expect progress. After earlier victories, patience runs thin. The idea that a single hill can stop a modern army feels wrong. Almost insulting. That belief pushes plans forward before doubts are fully faced. For the men on the ground, none of this feels abstract. They understand the stakes in simple terms. If this hill holds, they stay here. If it falls, they move on. Forward means survival feels closer. Stuck means more nights in the cold, more waiting, more fear. Supplies struggle to reach the front. Roads turn to mud. Vehicles slide off paths. Food arrives late. Ammunition must be carried by hand up steep slopes. Every task takes more energy than expected. The land itself seems to resist every effort. The enemy knows this well. Defensive positions are placed where they do not need to be many. High ground allows small groups to control large areas. Paths are covered. Approaches are limited. Attacking forces are forced to come in narrow lines, where movement slows and coordination breaks. What makes Monte Cassino matter most is not just what it blocks, but what it represents. It becomes a question hanging over the entire campaign. Can the Allies break a prepared defense in harsh terrain? Or will speed and strength fail against patience and position? Each failed push adds weight to that question. Confidence starts to crack. Plans grow more complex. New ideas are debated. Air power. Repeated attacks. Different units. Each choice carries risk. Each delay adds pressure. For the German defenders, the hill becomes proof that their strategy is working. They are outnumbered. They know this. But numbers matter less when time is the goal. Every day held here is a success. Every Allied delay feels like a quiet victory. The battle begins to pull in more than soldiers. It pulls in expectations, pride, fear of being wrong. Leaders worry about their reputations. Units worry about being blamed. The hill becomes a place where decisions feel permanent. At night, soldiers talk quietly. Not about politics or strategy. They talk about when this will end. About rumors of relief. About whether the hill will ever truly fall. Some believe it must. Others are no longer sure. The weather adds its own pressure. Rain turns trenches into pools. Cold seeps into bones. Fog hides movement and confuses plans. The land does not offer comfort to either side, but it favors the defender. Waiting becomes easier than advancing. Monte Cassino matters because it forces a choice. Push harder and risk more loss. Or pause and admit the path is not as simple as hoped. Neither option feels good. Both feel heavy. As days pass, it becomes clear that this battle is no longer just about reaching Rome. It is about proving something. Proving that planning can overcome terrain. That force can overcome position. That momentum can be regained once lost. And for the men crouched on the slopes, soaked and tired, the meaning is simpler. This hill decides whether tomorrow looks different from today. The silence before the next move returns. Feels familiar now. Less shocking. More dangerous. Everyone waits for the decision that will shape what comes next. Long before the first shots echo near the hill, the pressure has already begun to build. It starts far away in offices and meeting rooms, where maps are spread across tables and voices speak of progress and deadlines. Italy is meant to be the softer path. That belief settles deep into planning and expectation. After earlier success, confidence grows fast. Armies that have moved forward before expect to move forward again. The idea of being stopped feels wrong. Almost impossible. Italy on paper looks narrow and fragile. A country that should bend under steady force. But the land has its own memory. Mountains cut the country from north to south. Rivers cross every route. Valleys turn into traps when watched from above. Winter brings rain that turns roads into slow rivers of mud. None of this can be changed by confidence. As troops move north, supply lines stretch thin. Trucks struggle on broken roads. Bridges are weak or destroyed. Fuel arrives late. Food is cold. Even simple movement feels slow and heavy. Every delay adds tension. On the German side, the thinking is clear and calm. They know they cannot stop everything. They do not try. Instead, they choose where to stand. They build strong positions where the land already helps them. High ground. Narrow paths. Hills that command valleys. Monte Cassino is chosen because it is perfect for delay. It sits above the main route north. It watches everything. It forces any attacker to climb, exposed and tired, before even reaching the fight. The Abbey above it adds weight. Not just physical but mental. The defenders prepare with patience. They dig in. They study approaches. They learn the ground as if it were part of them. Time works for them. Every day spent here helps the larger plan. Meanwhile, Allied units arrive with mixed feelings. Some expect a quick fight. Others sense trouble. Veterans look at the slopes and say little. Newer soldiers try to believe the plans will work. Winter tightens its grip. Rain falls often. The ground softens. Boots never dry. Weapons must be cleaned again and again. Nights are long and cold. Sleep comes in short pieces. Morale shifts quietly. Not in dramatic moments but in small ways. Jokes stop sooner. Letters from home are read more slowly. Men listen more closely to rumors. Everyone wants to know how long this will last. Pressure from above grows stronger. Progress reports are expected. Delays must be explained. Explanations begin to sound like excuses. The word soon is used often. Too often. Plans are adjusted again and again. New ideas promise quick results. Each idea feels right in the moment. Each carries unseen risk. The hill does not care which plan is chosen. The Abbey remains untouched for now. It stands as it always has. Silent. Ancient. Its presence divides opinion. Some believe it is being used directly by the enemy. Others believe attacking it would be a mistake. The debate grows tense. Soldiers below do not debate. They watch. They feel watched. The hill feels alive to them. Every sound echoes. Every movement seems exposed. Fear does not shout. It sits quietly in the chest. Days pass without clear change. Small attacks test defenses. Patrols climb and pull back. Ground is gained and lost within hours. Nothing holds. Nothing breaks. Weather cancels plans. Fog hides targets. Rain slows movement. Nature becomes another opponent. One that cannot be argued with. The sense of time changes. The calendar matters less than the next order. The next warm meal. The next chance to sleep without being shaken awake. Monte Cassino begins to feel like a place where momentum goes to die. Forward movement slows to inches. Success is measured in survival rather than distance. Commanders feel the strain. Every decision now carries weight. Wait too long and lose initiative. Push too hard and pay a price. There is no clean answer. For the men on the line, the future shrinks. Tomorrow is the focus. Sometimes the next hour. The war beyond the hill feels far away. The stage is set. Not for a quick clash, but for a long struggle shaped by land, weather, and human limits. The hill has done its work already. It has slowed the war. It has forced everyone to reveal their patience or the lack of it. And as the next plans take shape, one truth hangs over everything. Monte Cassino will not be taken by confidence alone. Maps lie flat on the tables, but the minds around them are restless. Lines are drawn and erased. Arrows point forward, then shift slightly to the side. Every commander sees the same hill, but they do not feel it the same way. Some believe strength will decide everything. They trust numbers, air power, and steady pressure. They believe that if enough force is applied, the hill must give way. To them, delay feels like weakness. Waiting feels like failure. Others feel doubt. They look at the slopes and think of the cost. They think about tired men and broken ground. They worry that force alone will only harden the defense. Their fear is quieter, but it runs deep. Messages move up and down the chain of command. Each message carries urgency. Each removes a little room for choice. Expectations from above press down like weight on the chest. Progress is demanded, even when the path forward is unclear. On the German side, the thinking is different. Their leaders do not expect glory here. They expect endurance. Their goal is simple. Hold. Delay. Make every advance slow and painful. The hill allows them to do this with fewer men. They trust the land. They trust prepared positions. They trust that the enemy must come to them. This belief brings a strange calm. Not comfort but focus. Below the plans and orders are the soldiers who must carry them out. They do not see the full picture. They feel only the result of decisions made far away. A sudden order to advance. A pause that stretches too long. A change that makes yesterday's effort feel wasted. Fear shows itself in different ways. Some men grow quiet. Others talk too much. A few become sharp and angry. All are tired. Not just in the body but in the mind. Commanders know this. Or they think they do. Reports speak of morale, readiness, and supply. But no report can fully explain what it feels like to wait under a hill that seems to watch every move. The Abbey becomes part of the thinking even when it is not spoken about. Its position shapes every plan. Some see it as a threat. Others as a symbol. The question of what to do about it hangs in the air, heavy and unresolved. Ego slips into decision-making quietly. No one names it. No one admits it. But it is there. No leader wants to be the one who failed. No unit wants to be replaced because it could not succeed. Pressure builds with each failed push. Adjustments grow bolder. Risks are accepted more easily. What once seemed dangerous now feels necessary. On the ground, soldiers sense the change. Orders come faster. Expectations rise. Time for rest shrinks. The feeling grows that something big is coming. Night after night, men stare up at the hill. Some imagine victory. Others imagine more waiting. The hill gives no answers. Inside command tents and stone buildings, decisions are made that will shape the days ahead. They are not made lightly. But they are made under strain with limited time and imperfect information. This is where wars are often decided. Not just by weapons or numbers, but by human minds under pressure. By belief, doubt, and the need to act even when certainty is gone. As plans are finalized and orders prepared, a quiet tension spreads across the front. Everyone feels it. The sense that the next move will change everything. The calm before action settles in again. Different now. Heavier. Filled with expectation and fear. Soon the hill will answer these decisions. The sound begins without warning. It does not feel like noise at first. Feels like pressure. The air tightens. The ground seems to hold its breath. Then everything breaks loose at once. The sky fills with motion. A deep roar rolls across the valley and climbs the slopes. Soldiers press their bodies into the earth. Some close their eyes. Others stare upward, frozen. The hill that once felt silent now feels alive with force. Dust rises in thick clouds. Stone cracks and falls. The shape of the land begins to change. What was once a clear slope becomes broken ground. Paths disappear. Familiar shapes vanish behind smoke. Orders are shouted, but many are lost in the noise. Radios struggle. Voices come through half clear, half broken. Men try to move, then stop. They are unsure where to go. The plan they learn no longer fits what they see. When the sound finally fades, the silence that follows is strange. It is not calm. It is uncertain. Smoke hangs low. The air smells sharp and dry. The hill looks wounded but not defeated. Men begin to rise. Slowly. Carefully. Muscles ache from staying still too long. Packs feel heavier than before. The climb starts again, but now the ground fights back in new ways. Loose stone slips under boots. Broken walls block the way. As units move forward, confusion spreads. Some advance too far and lose contact. Others wait for orders that never come. The fog of smoke and dust hides both danger and direction. The first resistance is sudden. It does not come from everywhere. It comes from the right places. From above. From angles no one expected. The hill still knows how to defend itself. Fear moves fast. Faster than words. Men drop low. Hearts race. Training takes over where thought fails. Each step forward feels like a question with no clear answer. The Abbey above, damaged but standing, still casts its shadow. For many it feels unchanged. Still watching. Still shaping the fight. Time becomes hard to measure. Minutes stretch. Hours compress. No one knows how long they have been moving. Only that stopping feels dangerous and moving feels worse. Small groups become isolated. A squad takes cover behind broken stone. Another struggles to climb a slope that now feels twice as steep. Calls for support go unanswered. Not because no one cares, but because no one can hear. Leadership shifts in these moments. Rank matters less than presence. A calm voice. A steady hand. A decision made quickly, even if it is imperfect. These small moments keep men moving. The plan continues to break apart. Not all at once, but piece by piece. What was meant to be clear becomes messy. What was meant to be fast becomes slow. The weather adds its own weight. Wind pushes smoke back down the hill. Visibility shrinks. Men stumble. The ground feels endless. Some believe the defense must be breaking. Others feel the opposite. They sense that the hill has only changed shape, not intent. That it is adapting just as they are. By the time darkness returns, little feels gained. Ground has been touched, not held. Progress exists on reports, not in feeling. Exhaustion settles deep into the body. Night brings a different fear. Sounds travel farther. Movement feels exposed. Sleep comes in short, broken moments. Dreams mix with reality. The battle has truly ignited now. Not as a single moment, but as a slow fire that refuses to go out. It burns through plans and patience alike. Everyone involved begins to understand something hard and clear. This fight will not be decided by one strike or one day. It will be decided by how long each side can endure what comes next. As the fighting stretches on, the battle begins to change its shape. It is no longer about one attack or one defense. It becomes a series of moments, small and sharp, where decisions made in seconds carry weight for days. A unit pauses too long before moving and the chance slips away. Another pushes forward at the wrong moment and finds itself cut off. Timing becomes everything. Not courage alone. Not strength alone. But when to move and when not to. Commanders try to read the battlefield through reports that arrive late and incomplete. What looks like progress on paper feels fragile on the ground. A hilltop marked as taken is later found empty. A path thought to be open is blocked by rubble and fire. Each new plan promises a breakthrough. Each one feels different from the last. Flanking moves. Night advances. Short pauses meant to confuse the enemy. Some work for a moment. None last. The defenders understand this rhythm well. They do not rush. They wait for mistakes. They let the land do much of the work. A narrow path here. A hidden position there. They move just enough to remind the attackers they are still strong. For the soldiers climbing again and again, frustration grows. Not loud anger, but a deep, tired feeling. The sense of doing everything asked and still not getting closer to the end. Weather returns as a silent force. Rain falls and turns loose ground into slow traps. Cold settles into hands and feet. Weapons feel heavier. Simple tasks take longer. Everything costs more effort than it should. Messages from command push for results. The words are careful but the meaning is clear. This cannot continue forever. Something must change. Decisions become sharper. Risks feel more acceptable. The thought of waiting feels worse than the thought of loss. Leaders convince themselves that one more push might be enough. Some moments almost prove them right. A position is reached. A ridge is crossed. Hope rises quietly. Then resistance stiffens. Fire comes from new angles. The hill seems to tighten its grip. Chance plays its part. A shell lands where it was not expected. A runner reaches a unit just in time. A delay saves lives or costs them. No one can see the pattern until after the moment has passed. Trust becomes fragile. Units wonder if support will arrive. Commanders wonder if reports can be believed. The gap between planning and reality grows wider. At night, men lie awake and listen. To the wind. To distant movement. To the sounds of a battle that never fully sleeps. The hill feels closer in the dark. Larger. More present. Small acts of bravery happen without notice. A message carried under fire. A wounded man helped back to cover. A decision to hold ground just a little longer. These moments do not change the map, but they keep the battle alive. The sense grows that Monte Cassino is not being decided by one great move, but by a long chain of choices. Some right, some wrong. All made under pressure. As days turn into weeks, the battle grinds on. Not with constant noise, but with steady strain. The kind that wears down belief and patience. Everyone begins to understand that this hill will not be taken by force alone. It will be shaped by judgment, by mistakes, by timing, and by how much each side is willing to endure before something finally gives. The next phase approaches quietly. Not with a clear signal, but with the feeling that the cost is rising, and the answers are running out. The weight of the battle begins to settle on the men who live inside it. Not all at once. Slowly. Quietly. It shows in tired eyes and slower steps. In hands that shake just a little longer than before. Days blur together. There is no clear line between rest and action. Sleep comes in short pieces, broken by noise, cold, or the fear of missing an order. Even when eyes close, the mind stays awake. The hill takes its toll without drama. Muscles ache from climbing the same ground again and again. Boots stay wet. Socks never dry. Small cuts refuse to heal. Hunger becomes familiar. Not sharp but constant. Fear changes shape over time. At first it is sudden and loud. Later it becomes steady and dull. Always present. Men learn to carry it, but it never truly leaves. Silence becomes heavy. Waiting feels harder than moving. When nothing happens, imagination fills the space. Every sound feels closer than it is. Every shadow feels important. Voices grow softer. Jokes fade. Conversations turn short. Men save energy even in speech. Letters from home are read and reread until the paper feels thin. Loss is felt without being spoken. A familiar voice is missing. A space in a group stays empty. No one asks questions. Everyone understands. There is no sense of glory here. Only routine. Move. Wait. Hold. Pull back. Repeat. The ground gained one day may be lost the next. Effort does not always match reward. Yet people keep going. Not because they feel brave, but because stopping feels impossible. Orders are followed. Positions are held. Tasks are completed even when the reason feels distant. Small kindnesses matter more now. A shared cigarette. A quiet word. A hand on the shoulder. These moments carry weight in a place where comfort is rare. Commanders feel the strain too. Reports speak of fatigue. Of units needing rest. Of limits being reached. Decisions weigh heavier when every choice affects exhausted men. The battle no longer feels like a test of strength. Feels like a test of endurance. Of how long minds and bodies can hold together under steady pressure. Monte Cassino becomes personal. Not a symbol. Not a target. But a place that takes time, energy, and pieces of people with it. By now, Everyone understands that even if the hill is taken, it will not feel like triumph. It will feel like relief. And even that will come quietly. The question is no longer how to win quickly. It is how to keep going long enough to reach the end. At some point, the question of winning fades into the background. What remains is survival. Holding on long enough to see what tomorrow brings. For many, that becomes the only goal that still feels real. The battle does not end with a clear signal. It shifts. New units arrive. Old ones pull back, drained beyond words. Faces change, but the ground does not. The hill remains, scarred and silent, as if untouched by the effort spent on it. Fresh soldiers step onto the slopes with the same mix of hope and fear others once had. They listen to warnings. They nod. But they cannot fully understand until they feel it themselves. Until the climb begins. Until the silence presses down. Plans are adjusted again. Lessons learned the hard way are now spoken out loud. More care. More patience. Different timing. The fighting becomes slower, more careful. Less driven by force, more by method. On the German side, endurance begins to stretch thin as well. Holding ground takes effort. Supplies run low. Sleep is short. The defenders know they cannot hold forever. But they also know they do not have to. Every day still matters. The land shows the cost of the struggle. Slopes are broken. Paths are barely paths at all. What once looked solid now feels fragile. The hill is changing just as the men are. Eventually, movement begins to feel different. Not easier, but more possible. Gaps appear where there were none before. Resistance shifts. The rhythm of the defense changes. Those closest to the ground sense it first. A pause where there should be pressure. A position left quieter than expected. Nothing is said openly, but hope moves carefully through the lines. When the breakthrough finally comes, it is not dramatic. No sudden rush. No loud celebration. It happens step by step. Ground is taken and held. Then more ground. Slowly the balance shifts. The Abbey, once untouchable, is no longer the same presence. It still stands, but its power over the battle fades. The hill has given what it can. For the soldiers who reach the top, there is no joy. Only stillness. A long breath released. The fight here is over, but the weight of it remains. Looking back down the slopes, it is hard to believe how much was given for so little ground. How much time passed. How many moments were spent waiting. The road ahead opens at last. Rome lies closer now. But the victory feels heavy. Marked by exhaustion and memory rather than pride. Monte Cassino does not end the war. But it leaves a mark on everyone who passed through it. It teaches a hard lesson. That war is not only decided by strength or plans, but by limits. Human limits. And as the fighting moves on, those who survived carry this place with them. In quiet thoughts. In restless sleep. In the knowledge that some battles are remembered not for how they were won, but for what they demanded. When the guns finally fall quiet around Monte Cassino, the silence feels unfamiliar. Almost uncomfortable. After weeks of noise, waiting, and strain, calm does not bring peace right away. It brings space to think. And that can be harder. The road north opens just as planned. Maps now make sense again. Lines move forward. Reports speak of progress. Rome, once distant, is now within reach. On paper, the battle has done its job. But for those who were there, Monte Cassino does not feel like a clean success. Feels complicated. The hill was taken, but at a cost that cannot be measured only in ground or time. The memory of it stays heavy. Commanders study what happened. Some lessons are clear. Terrain matters more than numbers. Confidence must be tested, not trusted. Plans must bend to reality, not force reality to bend to them. Other lessons are harder to face. Decisions made under pressure can close off better choices. Pride can push battles forward before understanding is complete. Time, when misjudged, becomes an enemy. For the soldiers, the aftermath is quieter. Units move on. New battles wait. But Monte Cassino follows them. In the way they look at hills. In how carefully they listen to orders. In how they measure risk. The Abbey, damaged and changed, becomes a symbol debated for years. Some see it as a military necessity. Others see it as a warning. A reminder that war does not care about history, faith, or age. It touches everything. Italy continues to be hard ground. The campaign moves forward but more slowly now. Monte Cassino has taught both sides that this war will not be rushed. When Rome is finally entered, the moment is real, but it is brief. Celebration fades quickly. The war is not over. Other fronts burn. Other hills wait. Looking back, Monte Cassino stands apart. Not because it was the largest battle, or the fastest, but because it showed the limits of power, the cost of forcing progress, the human price of miscalculation. It reminds us that war is not a straight road. It bends, resists, and demands patience. It tests not only armies but judgment. For those who lived through it, Monte Cassino is remembered in fragments. A slope, a night, a voice in the dark, a long wait that seemed endless. History records the outcome, but memory keeps the feeling. This battle did not change the war in one moment. It changed how the war was understood, how future decisions were made, how caution began to share space with confidence. Monte Cassino stands as a lesson written in stone and silence, a reminder that even the strongest plans must answer to land, time, and human limits. If you value deep, respectful, and human stories of history like this one, subscribe to the channel and stay with us for more cinematic journeys into the past.